Are you a business owner stuck in fear, doubt, and worry about what the marketplace will look like in the future? Then this show is for you. Strap on your seatbelt and get ready to disrupt and innovate. Here's your host, Lisa Levy.
Today's guest is a powerhouse in business innovation and financial transformation, Jason Saltzman. As the founder of Relief, Jason is revolutionizing debt management, helping individuals regain control of their financial futures. With 2 successful exits, over a decade of mentoring at Techstars, and a passion for entrepreneurial education, he's a proven leader in building and scaling impactful ventures. Beyond his own endeavors, Jason's influence reaches global entrepreneurship ecosystems as co-chair of MIT's REAP program, helping to shape the future of innovation. Jason is here to bring real-world strategies, insights, and inspiration for anyone looking to navigate business, finance, and innovation with confidence. Jason, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you for having me. And that intro, that was a really, really flattering and unbelievable intro. Thank you for that. Because I feel like now what to talk about, because you already made me look so good. I can only go down from here.
Oh my goodness.
I'm happy to be here.
I'm thrilled to have you here, and I wanted to set the stage because you have done some amazing things, but that's kind of the formal stuff. Jason, tell the audience what you're truly focused on right now and why it's important today.
So the project that I'm working on full time is my technology company called Relief. It's a financial technology company. It helps people that have fell behind on their bills. And I've been working on it for years. I mean, I started in the debt relief industry 25 years ago. I went on to do many different things in my career, as you mentioned in your wonderful intro to me. Thank you for that again. But most recently, I felt my partners and I felt extremely compelled to tackle this problem now because it's the problem of our era. Debt is a crushing issue for millions and millions of Americans. 1 in 3 Americans have fell behind on their bills and have an account in collections. And that is the highest rate of delinquency since the 2008 recession. And statistics are statistics, but once you start helping people and speaking to people, you see the dignity that's lost along the way and what people's lives, what they're actually going through in their lives in average America. I'm not talking about the 1% of our population. There are so many people that are struggling right now. And when you have a set of skills and a network and access to capital, the way I've been fortunate enough to have, the only right thing to do is to try to solve a problem like this, right? And so that's why I'm doing it, and that's why I'm doing it now.
And it's an impactful statement you made. 1 in 3 people have fallen behind, and I've had experience in the debt relief space probably a decade ago. And what startled me when we really started looking at what that meant to the average American, right? This is something that husband and wife may both have reasonable jobs. They're earning a good living. They have a house, and then a medical crisis happens. And the bills that come on following that insurance doesn't cover, right? The unexpected things. They had a good life until.
Yes.
This isn't necessarily the extremes, right? This could happen to anybody. Many Americans are 30 to 90 days away from catastrophe.
And it's happening more and more. And the reason why is it's fairly simple. The problem, when you sort of break it down from a cumulative perspective, is complex, but surface level, it's very simple. Inflation has quadrupled the cost of everyday goods over the past 5 years, right? Those memes about what eggs used to cost and what they cost now are real. People feel it. I'm sure many people that are listening to this feel it. And the byproduct of that is that people are putting everyday goods on their credit cards that they never had to do ever again. And the systemic effect of that is delinquency rates that have skyrocketed to historic levels, right? And what we're going through right now, regardless of a record high Wall Street metric,
Right.
is a consumer recession that nobody really talks about because it often goes overlooked because for many reasons. I don't want to sound like a complete conspiracy theorist, but I think there's a reason why you learn how to dissect a frog in high school, but you don't learn how to use a credit card. And even though a credit card is so simple and easy to use, it actually is a very complex financial instrument that has systemic ramifications of using it in the nature of compound interest against consumer that can put people into financial slavery. And that's exactly what's happening today for millions and millions of people. So what we advocate for, and what I've always advocated for, is not only helping our fellow citizens and our fellow people and our friends and family, it's to, if you have the means to do so, is to break the cycle. And we've all been part of the cycle. I mean, everybody knows somebody in debt. If it's not credit card debt, it's student loan debt. Obviously, there's a difference between good debt and bad debt. I mean, you need to take out a mortgage, right, in most cases. And that's good, kind of considered good debt because as an investment, hopefully that investment will climb. But for paying for something like groceries and maxing out your bills, you'll be stuck paying for those eggs for the next 20 years of your life. Plus, making minimum payments to pay off those eggs. And that to me is a major flaw in our system.
And it's a flaw that generationally we have a younger wave, our Gen Zs coming into the world, into business, into adulting, and finding that that's the only way that they can make ends meet.
Yeah.
As they set out on their own. So we're setting them up behind the eight ball. Let me mix some metaphors for us in a way that sets them up to fail long term.
And it's always been this way, but now we can sort of break down why things are the way they are, right? If you look at these corporations, they spend trillions of dollars to get you hooked on a credit card from day one, right? There's a reason why there's more credit card booths at career fairs when you get into that next step of your career than actual jobs that are hiring, right? There's a reason why you go to a event, a baseball game, and there'll be credit card booths set up that have these stuffed bear giveaways around Valentine's Day, right? Apply for a credit card, get your next trip on Spirit Airlines. Apply for a credit card, get a fuzzy bear during Valentine's Day. Oh, you want that purchase? Use your store card. You don't have one? 10% off your purchase. They're not giving anything to you. Those are boardroom decisions to affect your dopamine levels and any possible thing that they do from a calculated perspective to get you into that system. And what people don't know is behind the fine line that they sign is a world of hurt, financial hurt, if you're not making more than your minimum payments, right? Mm-hmm. And nobody ever tells you that unless you're privileged enough to come from like a good financial background, or you go through an issue yourself and get yourself out, have good influence in your life, and so on and so forth. But like that, it's so easy to blame irresponsibility for the issue, but it's much larger than that. Irresponsibility is a fraction of what the real problem is here.
Yeah, and I'll play with that just a little, right? Irresponsibility is that one purchase that was totally added no value, right? It was just the purse that I didn't need. That might be an irresponsible purchase. But the dependence on credit cards to sustain my life and put food in the refrigerator and fuel in the car and get to and from work every day, that's the bigger issue, right? The one-offs, and there's that one, that small percentage on one end that is just generally irresponsible. Fine, we know that on a bell curve that they're out there, but that's not what you're really talking about and focused on are people who are trying to live in our world with the expenses, increasing as they are for day-to-day overhead and income not catching up and meeting meeting those needs. While we're talking about what you do with Relief, talk about the program and how it works for consumers and your clients.
So we built an app for people that are in collections so they don't have to pick up the phone and deal with all the crap that happens when you fall behind on your bills. Because when you fall behind on your bills, there's a lot of noise. The phone starts ringing. You start to get bills in the mail. Collectors are calling 24/7. They try to find you. They skip trace you. There's been all of these technology over the past 20 years to get you on the phone, right? What we've done is we've automated the whole process for a consumer that wants to figure out what they can possibly save if they were to pay their bill right now, right? And many people don't know this, but if you fall behind on your bill, the net present value of that debt has gone down, because what happens is they sell that debt for pennies on the dollar. And within that sale is a savings for the person that's going through the issue. But in order to tap into the savings, traditionally, you have to pick up the phone. You have to go through a negotiation process or hire one of these expensive firms to negotiate for you. What we built is the first ever app that does the whole thing for you. And it's for a fraction of the cost that would have cost you to hire one of these firms. And we only charge you if you get a savings. So the service is guaranteed. So that's what we built now. That's our current feature. We launched it 8 months ago. We had over 100,000 people download the app and connect their debts. We have over $6 billion of debt enrolled into the platform. And we're helping people at the levels that we couldn't even predict when we started it. The average savings is around 50%, but we're saving our users up to 70% of their total debt. And it's within a few clicks of a button to do so. But what we're going into in the future is the system's going to be able to provide loans, consolidation loans for people. The system's going to be able to do workouts where they're not in collections, so pre-collection people. We're just building it incrementally because it's a startup. It's brand new.
All right. Thank you for sharing what the app does and how it works for people. You are an entrepreneur. You're building a business. So you talk to us a little bit about some of the challenges that you've had getting Relief, getting it ready to go to market. And as you're looking at your roadmap, right, you know where you're going, how you're going to grow and scale, but talk to us from that entrepreneurial perspective of building this business.
It's been very challenging. So, and I speak to that as a founder. Building has been worked on other things in the past. Like everything's challenging as a founder. I think that if you're looking to get into entrepreneurship, I think one of the misunderstandings that people have is they'll look at like a Forbes cover or some article that came out with somebody that just sold their business for $300 million or whatever it is. And they think like, oh, or you think I'm going to start this business because I want to work for myself. I want my own time. I think those things are very misleading because number one, whatever you see, there's a saying that I like to use. It took me 10 years to look like an overnight success, right? There's a grind and a grit. And if you're building something out of nothing, the universe is going to test the crap out of you. And you're going to have to fight your way. Every day I wake up, put on my boxing gloves and get in the ring. And it's a constant, right? You go from one problem to the next. That is what it's like to build a business. You're a problem solver. And if you're not equipped to do that, or if you're not ready to do that, or you're under false pretenses, this is going to be easy, well, buckle up because that's just not going to work. I've been in the game for a long time. And that's the biggest lesson I've learned is that you're going to go through it. I have a saying that I think I like to think that I created it. When you're in rare air, there's going to be turbulence. And that's exactly what it's like when you go out and you seek out to do something special. Challenges are faced every day, and that's just part of the game.
Okay. And thank you, right? That is a very honest and real answer to the entrepreneurial journey is not sexy and it's not glorious until the big win, if you get to the big win. And not all of us ever do, right? Some of us play in the grind for the long haul because that's what our business is requiring of us. You've had multiple exits. Talk about the win when you get there and you've actually achieved the goals and there's a successful exit. What's that like?
It's never what you think it is. And I just want to preface this properly. Like, I haven't had an exit that has like set me off to retirement. You know, I've had, I was able to buy a house. I was able to live a lifestyle that I become comfortable with. I never, even though I have to work, I would probably still work anyway, but I'm in no means in a position to retire and sip on the beach and sip on mojitos, all day long. But I had some very successful things happen to me in my career. We've raised a collective of over $150 million throughout my endeavors, from M&A to private equity to venture capital. I've been fortunate enough to invest in companies that I care about, founders that I want to support. Um, but as far as the wins go, they're never as sweet as you think they're going to be. It feels good for about a half a second, and then you're back into it. And if you think that you're working 24/7 for that one payoff day, I think you're misunderstanding what this is about. I've learned that the journey is more important than the end, because the end is completely unpredictable, right? So the only thing that you have full awareness of is the moments that you're in right now, right? So I try to focus on doing the best possible thing that I could do right now in the moment, with the goals in sight, the KPIs I've created for the business, what I would like to do with my life. But right now is the moment where you need to prove everything to yourself. That's not tomorrow. That's not a year from now. So you have to sort of get resolve in that, because success is a lot of luck too. It's not just about making the right moves. It's having the wind blow in your direction the right way, right? Success is just
Absolutely.
setting yourself up for the luck.
I like that's great. Success is setting yourself up for the luck, because we can't control when that happens, if we ever actually have the opportunity to experience that. But I really do like that the moment is now. If we aren't content and satisfied with what we're doing in the now, we are on a really arduous journey that isn't going to get better, because right now is everything. And an exit, right, is inevitable. In some way, shape, or form, we will all exit from our current employment situation, our business ownership. It's how we do it that becomes most interesting. But if we focus on the idea of, and I personally prefer the beach with a margarita in hand, is that pinnacle. You may have your mojitos, right? I'm looking for that margarita experience, right? That's for the smile, that's for the laugh. That's not really that's not the reality of what that exit is most likely going to look like for most entrepreneurs. It's a happy dream, but the moment is now, and what we're doing as we're building, grinding, serving our clients and customers to the best of our experiences. That's the journey, and that's what we are actually signing up for.
I think every time I focus on that and I put my heart and soul and love and passion into what I'm doing right this minute, the end result comes out so much better anyway, right? So it's sort of common sense. And you really want to have that peace of mind, because if you worry about the future, you're worrying about everything. You're giving up your freedom, right? And I think that it's very important to keep your peace of mind along the way by focusing on the moment, is like the life hack. That's I've learned that's probably the biggest lesson I've ever learned.
And I thank
Because
you
we're
for
not
that.
just exiting businesses, Lisa. We're also exiting this earth at some time.
Correct.
And like, on the bigger scheme of things, I mean, we're basically, we're micro dust.
Yeah,
So, we're fortunate enough to be here. We won the lotto already. We're here. So make what you will of it.
absolutely. Jason, we've talked about lots of things, but would you briefly describe for us what you're doing with MIT in that program to foster innovation in younger minds?
Yeah, so I love benevolent projects. I was approached by a friend of mine who is working with MIT on their regional accelerator program, which basically they go into different regions to solve very large problems. For instance, Botswana is part of the current cohort, which is in Africa, and their number one export contributing to their GDP is diamonds. And natural diamonds have taken a massive hit over the past few years because of the advent of lab grown diamonds. So they're looking for other ways of producing revenue. So they'll use the program, the REAP program, to think outside the box, cut the red tape, much like entrepreneurs do, get the right stakeholders in a room to make decisions that will impact their ecosystem for the years to come. I was asked to co-chair the Miami program that's coming up next year, and that essentially is we're looking to launch the program itself. Miami sounds like a great place, but it is, but we have a lot of issues, and those issues have been defined through data. And Miami's also having a moment because of the mass, people have moved here at historic levels, and what used to be a great place to visit has quickly become a great place to live, and it's quickly becoming a great place to work. But beyond that is like, what does it stand for to be in Miami? What innovation can take place?
Yeah.
And MIT is through the REAP program is leaning in with the cohort that we put together to build framework to solve some of those problems here. So we're really excited about it. But it's all benevolent. I've joined boards. I was on the board of Florida International University to raise money for the endowment, and I generally have a passion for helping others through things like that.
Fabulous. And thanks again for sharing that. Jason, if people are interested in what you're building, especially with Relief, where can they find out more information?
Yeah, so if you're behind on your bills, I would absolutely go to the App Store, Google Play, or iOS. Download the app, put your information in. It's free to see what the app can potentially do for you. I would absolutely do that today. We built it for you, right? If you want to get in touch with me personally, I'm on Instagram at Jason Saltzman. My Twitter is at SaltzmanJason. It's in reverse. And I love DMs. I love helping people with their business ideas. I also love helping people that are going through these financial issues that we're looking to solve. Mm-hmm. So I speak to people all day long about these things. So feel free to message me. Don't be shy.
Awesome. So today we've talked through the fact that in our reality today, we are in an era of crushing debt. It is a consumer recession that really isn't something that's being discussed or called out that way, but it is impacting 1 in 3 Americans who are currently behind in some way, shape, or form with their consumer debt payments. And with this, right, with the app and with Relief, you have in the last 6 to 8 months influenced $6 billion in debt on behalf of your clients. Helping them negotiate out 50 to maybe even 70% of their debt and getting them into a stronger position. The key in all of this for us as entrepreneurs building our business, the moment is now. If you are happy and doing the things that you want today, you're on the right journey. If you're looking for the big win at the end, you may have made the wrong choice. Jason, I appreciate the time that we've spent together. Audience, you know my rules. Don't get left behind. Join me next time.
That's it for today's episode of Disrupt and Innovate. Head over to iTunes and subscribe to the show.